Conversations podcast powered by Just Talk and Lisa Listen. What say you, Lisa Listen, today?
I say today is going to be unlike any other show that you've ever seen, and some of the past shows have been pretty darn good.
I agree. I feel like I am going to come out of a deep sleep and be awakened today.
Really? Well,
somehow.
Tell me. Well, okay.
Can you feel me?
Let me just go out of order a little bit. Let me just tell you today's topic is rediscovering yourself through the power of an awakening.
Yes.
So we have a special guest.
We do. We're going to bring that special guest on in a moment. But first, tell me, who are you and what do you do for Just Talk?
I am Lisa Bybee, and I do VP of Sales and Marketing for Just Talk.
And you do it well.
And I have Lisa Listen, which is a division of Just Talk, where I empower and inspire women to live their life at their highest vision, as well as podcasters.
Fair enough. And with that said, how much money have you made for the company lately? I feel like Janet Jackson.
Well,
what have you done for me lately?
You want me to tell you what that bottom line is?
No, don't tell us on air. No, just say, is it good or real good? Is it good or real good?
You know what? It's getting better.
It's real good. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, so I am a professional speaker, life coach, executive coach. Definitely spend a lot of time in that world. Also as an author and definitely podcaster on the super famous favorite station, Vegas Video Network.
With Mr. Scott Whitney.
Yes. And now there he is right there. There's Mr. Director right there. That Scott, he's so good at what he does. He knows how to tell you what to do.
And where to go.
When to do it.
And where to go when he needs to.
And we like that about Scott.
So without further ado, we have...
Bring on a special guest. You bring her in.
Poppy Helgren, welcome to the show
Poppy
today.
Helgren,
hey,
welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Poppy is a registered nurse.
Yes.
You have done directive nursing responsibilities. You've done registered nursing responsibilities. You've done, what other responsibilities have you done that we need to know about so that we can brag about you?
Let's see. Well, I was an Army captain, Army nurse. I'm a mom of a bunch of kids.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to even say the number. It's just a lot. Right? Okay, fair enough.
We don't want the number?
No.
Oh, gosh, just a bunch.
Like the Brady Bunch kind of kids?
Sort of.
Like that.
Yeah, just like
Actually, crank it up a notch.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
So you clearly said you've got your hands full.
I sure do.
If you've got a bunch of kids and you've got a lot of responsibility, like in directive nursing, you've got your hands full.
I do.
I think you need a coach.
I think I have one.
So, no, this is going to be fun. So we're going to talk about awakening. Let's first start the dialogue as we bring Poppy in. Let's talk about really what an awakening is.
An awakening is a 1, 2, or 3-day personal retreat that leads you through major breakthroughs in your life. Each one is customized to fit the individual's needs and wants. The work that is done in an awakening is a fast track and can compare to 9 to 12 months of monthly coaching sessions.
That's huge. So monthly coaching sessions. So on the standard coaching program, life coaching, executive coaching, whichever, sometimes they meld into one. Some people come for personal, some people come for professional development. Either way. Either way.
Intertwine.
Either way, they're going to intertwine.
Right.
But 9 to 12 months would then suggest that there are 3 sessions per month on the standard coaching program.
Long.
So what you're telling us, and I agree with, on a dedicated, specific program of an awakening, just on a 1-day awakening, we can cover and manage through what would take 9 to 12 months on the standard program. You get it in 1 day.
Well, 1 day might go through 6 months, 2 days, 9 months, 3 days, 12 months. Let's clarify
Fair enough. So in other words, 9 to 12 months. So let's talk about it. First, let me give some specifics on it, and I have a little piece here I want to share with you. Number one, there's a pre-awakening coaching session or sessions, typically 2 to 3 pre-awakening sessions, so you can set up what you want from the awakening, what you want from your coach from the awakening, and what you want from yourself from the awakening. That has to be answered well before you get here. Then a customized roadmap for your success. So we lay that out, what that looks like, in an agenda that gets you things from reflexology, massage therapy, and then workouts, fitness,
hiking,
exactly.
Outside.
All the things that you enjoy are customized into that program with a plethora of sessions in and out all day long. So that happens. And then you start to create that awakening experience from that roadmap. And then at the end of that, there's a post-awakening piece where we talk about what have you gained from this process? What is your takeaway? And that's where I'm going to start calling. You ever heard of Magic Mike?
Oh, that's kind of
like it's a movie, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a sexy guy, right?
Okay.
He's got some moves.
He does have some moves.
Woo.
Well, Poppy's got some moves. That's why I'm going to call her Magic Poppy.
Okay. All right. Maybe we can introduce her to Magic Mike.
Maybe we could do that. She's not resisting. She's learned not to resist.
Sister up.
She's learned not to resist the good things that come up in life. So, Poppy, talk to us. Let's share. Let's share from the coaching perspective first. From the coaching perspective, what have you gained from being part of the Just Talk coaching program? Just on the basic program?
Oh my!
Where do you begin? Right?
Really. I was very blessed to have you recommended to me from somebody at work. It was perfect timing. I never really thought much about coaching, but I had a need the day that we met. I was getting ready to be part of a deposition the very next day in California, where I knew I was going to be tortured by an attorney.
Right.
Ouch.
Right.
And so I met you, never laid eyes on you before.
Right.
And that was how we met. And you prepared me for that in a 1-hour coaching session.
Yeah.
You helped me calm my nerves down and be prepared to go in and be grilled by an attorney, which I had never had that happen before.
Kind of like putting on an oxygen mask, right, Nurse?
Exactly.
Helgren?
Exactly.
Yes, that's true. Good call, Liz.
It was so funny because he had told me, Jesse told me to picture a garbage can by the door. And he said, because I was very angry about what was getting ready to happen.
Yes.
I had a lot of anger. And he told me to picture a garbage can and walk in there and throw that out, what I was feeling, so that I could be calm and not be coming out with all this garbage.
Right.
And literally, I pictured that during this 8 hours of having an attorney 4 feet away from me, just grilling me. And I'm very visual.
Yeah, me too.
And I visualized that throughout this.
And it was your
session.
saving grace.
It really was. I know it helped me to be very calm and not say stuff that I shouldn't, and not to be ill prepared, but to calm myself down and be in control. Because,
exactly.
You can get out of control when you're being provoked by somebody that's
very good
not
at
on your
provoking.
side.
No, it's not on your side.
Yeah.
Funny she says, well
Yes.
said. And what I noticed about Poppy, even during the very first session, in the first 15 minutes, she's got a lot of energy. She's got a lot of moxie. She's intelligent. She's going to speak her mind. She's going to say what's on her mind. And the exposure that I've had with a lot of attorneys, I'm not going to say all attorneys, but a number of attorneys in a broad scope, is that they can push your buttons, especially if they're on the other side. And what I did not want her to do was to let someone else rattle her cage and have her saying things that she didn't mean or didn't feel or was the wrong thing to say or inappropriate or hostile or whatever. I want her to have a mechanism, a tool that when they start pressing her button, in her mind, she'd go, okay, they're pressing my button. And she could literally, metaphorically, do this quick exercise that kept her, bringing her back to calm.
Right.
And she actually did it, and it worked for her.
I can remember looking at him, grilling me with these questions, and I was able to be in control there that whole time. And it literally was 8 hours, with a lunch break.
It was
but,
8 hours straight with one lunch break.
With a lunch break.
Wow.
And I was able to maintain my cool and not say anything that I shouldn't say.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And it actually was making him angry.
And that's just with 1 hour session.
That was the first session. I knew then, and I think I told you right after that, wow, well, I was hooked then. And it's been 4 years. 4 years last month made our 4-year anniversary, and I haven't taken time off.
No, not once.
And I've gone through all kinds of different issues.
You've had many life swings in the last 4 years, job-related mass swings, personal-related mass swings, relationship-related past swings, emotional. I mean, the gamut. You run the gamut. You always show up for your sessions on time. You always show up ready to play full out. You always do. What I like about Poppy, she always does all of the thought work or the field work. That's adult version of homework.
Just do the work.
When I give her the work, she does the work.
Right.
So she does the work away from the campus. When she comes back for the campus, she's ready to play full out. And I like that about her. Whenever I think about having a session with Poppy, I know it's going to be a fabulous session, even if we create it on the spot. Oftentimes, I'll always have an agenda. I throw the agenda out sometimes with Poppy in the first 3-4 minutes. I go, okay, well, that's not going to be what's going to work today. And we always pick whatever rises to the top for her.
Well, what made you offer the awakening, and when in this 4 years did you offer that to Poppy?
Because Poppy was at a place, she was at a crossroads in her life at that time. And she needed faster, accelerated results that were meaningful and connected, not rushed, but a high sense of urgency placed on them. And I felt the awakening was going to help her quantum leap forward from the disposition that she currently sat to her much higher place of possibilities. That's really why.
Nice.
That was why. So let's talk about that. What do you think, Poppy, is the difference? Just generically, what do you think is the difference between the standard coaching program, which you've been on for 4 years, and the awakening, which you did a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I was about 2 years into it before we'd even talked about an awakening. And it was like concentrate, it was
Be present,
be
in the moment.
Yes, it was very concentrated. I was able to, I knew I was going to have a day. I did the one day, and I knew it was going to be a day that I was working on myself and getting things straight in my life. I do believe that every person deserves to put effort and put, money into themselves and put
The best investment, might I say?
invest in themselves.
Yes.
Good, that's. And, I deserve it. Everybody deserves that.
Yeah.
We work hard. I know I bust my butt at work and
Day in and day out for
family.
many hours.
Yes, very much so.
Intense hours and long hours. Where do you think you'd be, Poppy? And I don't know this answer. I really don't. Where do you think you might be had you not done either the awakening or the coaching based on what you know about your life circumstances, that whole roller coaster of life? Where do you think you might be emotionally, spiritually?
Wow.
Wow.
That's a scary thought, actually. I don't think I'd be in such a good place.
Wow.
I don't have a perfect life, but I am open-minded. You help me to see things in a different light.
Perspective shifts.
Yes.
Reverse. We have done what we call, and I got this from the 50th Law, the book, The 50th Law, with Robert Greene and 50 Cent. And in there, they talk about reversal of perspective. And a reversal of perspective is when you tell me what's on your mind, you tell me how things are, and I look at that from an outsider's perspective, and I challenge you to see it for how it really is, not just for how you see it. And oftentimes what comes out of that is a reversal of perspective.
Absolutely. You are right. And that's happened more than once, and at least I'm open-minded enough that I will sit back and I will listen. I'm not that hard-headed that I just think it's my way. I will open my mind and listen to the way he presents it. And most of the time I see it in a totally different way.
Right.
And it serves me to do that.
But also it's a safe place to come and tell the truth, because really, who can you tell
all of it? Look, she's laughing because she can't talk about all of it.
Who could you possibly come to in your life and say everything that's going on and feel like you're 100% safe
and not be judged,
work through all of these issues
you are
and challenges?
So right. How many times have I said, I'm telling you stuff, Jesse, that I don't tell to other people?
Yes.
You know the all truth on things that you would be ashamed to tell your friends, because
they would judge you.
Yeah, because face it, life isn't always perfect. We're not robots. I'm not a Stepford wife. I've done stuff.
But you look good at times. You look as good as a Stepford wife, but
but I mean,
and this is after 14 hours of work. You're looking this good.
Exactly. Yeah, I had a long day. But it's true. I'm able to say things to him that I don't say to other people. And get feedback and get my head screwed on straight and look at things in a different way, because I want to be the best person I can be.
Absolutely. And you get to remove some of those self-limiting beliefs, because these are truth to you, but they're not truth to everybody. So you got to break down the barriers and get rid of the baggage and leave it behind so that you can feel light and move forward.
I totally agree. And what I like best about you and how you show up is that you will listen. You listen very well, and you also express yourself extremely well. And one of the richest things that I like about you is you don't see me as like the second coming or the gospel. You hear me out, and there's a mutual respect between the two of us. There's no doubt about that. But if I say something that doesn't resonate with you, you will challenge it. And I like that.
Yeah.
You will challenge it. And I have to make my case or stand down and go, you know what? I felt good about what I said when I was thinking about it, but what you just said trumps it. And, so it's not a hierarchy thing where you have to just like Scott, play that music when the gospel opens up. When whatever that music is you play. Yeah, that music right there. It's not one of those situations. It's a situation where we have created a partnership. And in this partnership, I'm looking to help you break through your default future and create these breakthroughs that create a higher quality of life for you. In fact, there's a quote that I want to share with you that we put on our awakenings that say this: the greatest thing in the world is not so much where we stand as in what direction we are moving. This is by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Mm-hmm. The direction we are moving. And that's what we do. We're always moving with the energy and creating a great energy. So when you finish a session, how do you feel when you finish any session we've ever had?
I always feel better. How many times, our sessions are at 5:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And how many times, I think it was just a week ago. I know, it's a horrible hour. Right. But we have 5:30 to 6:30 so that I can get to work on time.
Yes.
And I think it was last week that I said, oh my God, there was stuff going on. And at the end of the session, I felt so much better. I felt more level-headed. I felt like I could do my day. I've got a lot of issues going on right now. Things are not calm in my life. My life is not perfect, but I want it to be as good as it can. And what I do affects other people. I've got a little girl, 7 years old. I have other children. I work with people as a director of nursing. So what I do does affect other people. And right. I want to be the best that I can be so other people can have good, You have a 7-year-old beautiful little girl. Can I say her name or no? Yes,
Leah. Leah's a 7-year-old beautiful girl, highly intelligent, funny, smart, quick, and you're very well connected. But you have a 7-year-old. You also have 30-something children. So you scan
Is
the
that
broad
the number
range.
You have 30 children?
No.
Some people think so.
Some days it feels like that, but no. And so from age 7 to 30-something, mm-hmm. and you're still looking for the quest to create a quality life for yourself, and that's what's cool. And so that's why going back to the awakening. Let's talk about some of the things that awakening does. You read some of those things in terms of highlights and benefits, Lisa, if you will, and then we'll talk about Poppy's highlights and benefits.
Clarifying values and roles that you play. Was that eye-opening for you?
It really is, yes.
You never know how many roles you're playing until it's listed on paper. You go, wow, I'm playing 35 roles?
Right,
wow.
Right.
To be open-minded, aware, and present.
And let me sneak in there.
Yes.
Let me back up on values and roles. We're talking about understanding what you value most. What are the most governing values for you, your value system, that innate value system that you were born with, versus based on the roles that you're playing, mother, father, director of nursing, daughter, sister, friend, all the different roles.
Chauffeur.
How are you showing up in those roles versus your value system? If you're doing something counter to those value system, you get what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, and that's that thing in your stomach that things don't feel right. And you know they're not right, but you don't know what to do. Because
you're out of alignment.
So we do a program called What Matters Most that we learn from Hiram Smith, and that's where we discern what those values, we weight the quality of those different values and roles, and we're looking for alignment to get you back in alignment. So I just wanted to say that. Now you can
that was good.
carry
that
on
was
with
very good,
more
Dad. Also, to bring your full self to the experience and experience your full truth and your emotions. Be in touch with your emotions. A lot of people that come to awakenings don't know.
They don't know what they don't know. Or a lot of times they don't even know what they don't know.
Or how to even be.
Poppy was dealing with something I can't get into, but Poppy can if she likes. But the next one you talk about is releasing your baggage. You had a circumstance. Okay, with that laugh, you tell it. You don't have to tell the long story, but tell what I mean by releasing your baggage when you're carrying around that baggage.
It was issues with my mother and father.
Okay, now wait a minute. I'm looking out there to those of you watching this podcast and those of you maybe listening to the podcast. Have you ever carried around issues about how you were raised, about good parents, bad parents, neglectful parents, dysfunctional household? If you're out there, raise your hand right now. Okay, there's many. There's even someone in the studio right now raising her hand. She's got a lot of that baggage going on. So talk to us about that, because many people deal with that and they don't realize it's trapping them and holding them back holding back the quality of their lives if they don't figure out how to release that baggage and move forward.
You know, even though I was very respectful of my parents for what they've done for me, I also, thought that they could have done better. I was an only child. I could have been, treated a little bit better, and I feel like I wasn't. I felt like I wasn't, and I was resentful. But one of the points that you had brought out to me was, I'm the person I am today because of what I went through.
Right.
And how can you criticize that? Because I turned out okay. I've got a good work ethic.
Yeah.
I'll bust my butt. I will work hard. I will treat my kids. I love them dearly. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them to help set them up in life.
That's right.
And
you've shown that time and time again.
Them.
Yes.
So as a direct result of my parents, how they raised me and what I criticized about them, hey, I am who I am.
Because of them.
I'm okay.
But
I'm all right.
How were you able to release it without a bunch of detail? How were you able to finally get in touch with that and see it from the perspective that it was in, and then what it was really in, not what you were living that it was in, and then release it?
Well, you need to tell them about your putting the chair down.
Right.
And holding something up in front of you and holding it, and it's heavy. And why are you carrying this? That's heavy and is harmful to you. Just put the damn thing down.
And how much better do you feel when you put it down?
Uh-huh. And so I remember that whole thing, up in where we had our session that day.
J.W. Marriott.
Yes.
Yes.
And it made so much sense. Why am I carrying something around that's
not
causing
serving.
me discomfort?
It's not serving you in
Right.
any way.
That's ridiculous.
Right. So we put together a program called the Circles of Life, and that was part of your program. And in a 2-hour program, what you've been carried around for 50 plus years, you walked away from that session, and I've never seen you pick up the chair since then.
And you've
that
said
baggage.
that a number of times.
It's true.
And I do feel like I've released that. That's not there any longer.
Because you didn't know how. First off, you didn't realize that's what you were doing. Mm-hmm. And when you realized it, you didn't know how to stop it. Mm-hmm. So that's what that helped. Let's give us a few more benefits. And I want to hear Poppy's story on awakening. So that our audience and our viewers can really get the energy from her.
Well, being able to handle the truth. We talked about that.
Okay.
And discovering new life tools that you can use, and the garbage can being an example, right?
Being in the moment, yes.
And building that life plan, what it looks like moving forward.
You've asked me a number of times, what do you want to do in life? Where do you want to go from here?
Right.
And I got to say, I think here I am in my 50s, and I don't think I've ever thought that until you asked me that. What brings you joy? What do you want to do?
And it's
it's a tough question, right?
I'm thinking, I've never thought about
that.
I couldn't even answer you.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Hard to answer.
Yeah.
If you've never thought about it.
But, to me, a lot of people do think about it, but I had never thought about that. And even as a young girl, even though, I knew I would go to college, and, once I was in college, I thought, oh, let's be a nurse kind of thing.
Sure.
But I still never really looked forward to know what would bring me joy. And
what you wanted for yourself. And you say a lot of people do. And I'm going to say to you, Poppy, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people have not asked themselves. And those that ask themselves, when they don't have the answer, they typically frighten themselves. So they stop asking, they put it away. They don't answer the question. And it's a process in answering that question. Mm-hmm. We have this thing that we call purpose, gifts, and talents. And the purpose, gifts, and talents, without filibustering about it, telling a long story, is to help you get in touch with what are your best gifts and talents that you were born with. And likely, those best gifts and talents are the things that you likely would be best doing in life and that would serve your wants and your needs. And a lot of people don't get in touch with that because we grow up with all these false limiting belief systems, and we say things like, who do you think you are? You're too big for your britches, or we can't afford that, or all these different things. So you go with all these negative false limiting belief systems, you shut your game down. You can have anything you want in life. You just have to determine what it is and strike a plan to make it happen.
And somebody that we're going to give a shout out to on the show definitely knows what her purpose, gifts, and talents are, and that's Dr. Victoria Boyd.
Yes, give that shout out, please.
You need to say that word for me.
Philantropreneur.
Thank you.
Okay.
She is planting informational seeds for the future plans for the
Philantropreneur.
Thank you. Campus Center. Her tagline is build capacity and build community. A place for nonprofits to call home, a real office, and a professional image. An environment that promotes synergy and collaboration. And she's looking for community partners and members. So to join this and support this project and development, please call Dr. Victoria Boyd at 702-577-7369.
She is the Philantropreneur.
And she is an amazing lady.
She is amazing. Well, great. Tell the audience where else they can find our distribution of this podcast while we're at it really quickly. Of course,
iTunes, Roku, Stitcher, Google TV, Apple TV, YouTube, RSS feed, Facebook, Twitter, and last but not least, our very own Vegas Video Network. Yes, very nice. Very nice. Well, we only have a few minutes left on the program. So with that, thank you for those announcements. We do really appreciate that. Do we have something? Oh, we have an event coming up March 1st. That's going to be the Power of Asking. Huge event. And we have a few seats left. The seating is very limited. So if you want information on that, please email us at feelings, FEELINGS, at JessTalk, JessTalk.com.
Yes.
And we'll give you more information about that.
Yeah, that's going to be packing with a whole lot of power. That's going to be
double your income. You want to be at this event.
And if you want to double up your time and efficiency, you want to be at that event because all those answers are going to be
little gems. There's so much
more
to learn there.
It's going to be a lunch and learn, and also we're going to feed them as well.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. But the last couple of minutes, let's go back to the awakening here. When you were walking away from your awakening, what can you share with us and our listeners, our viewers, our audience about how did you feel as you're walking away from this experience, that full day awakening experience?
It's hard to describe
that,
but I felt, a weight off of me, and I also felt that anything is possible.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
And what a thing to feel, that anything is possible, and that is something that I have since shared with a son that I have, Holden,
nice.
Getting into acting.
Yeah.
Think of what people can do in life if they think that it's possible. So many people are like you said earlier, get shut down, by something out there,
by something somebody said.
That's right.
Words are powerful. Right. They can kill your whole everything.
I love that anything is possible. Now, you live in Vegas, so you are here locally for the awakening, but we have people that actually fly in for the awakening. We have people that fly us for the awakening. We've flown to Vancouver and Panama, Dominican Republic, Toronto, other cities, other countries to do 1, 2, and 3 day awakening. So you can go in either direction, but we always like to do it in an environment. Even if you're in Vegas, I took you to different environments that were not native to you so that you can think differently in those environments. And for you to walk away with possibilities when you came there with feeling like shut down, like you were stuck, you were opened up from that. That's a brilliant way to walk away from an awakening. And so it left you feeling how?
Wonderful.
And,
I mean, enlightened. Anything's possible. Good. Looking forward to life.
To your life.
That you could conquer the world, right?
Yes.
You felt empowered that you could do things that you never thought were possible before.
Yeah, I did. I felt like I could do it.
And you did, and you were strong through all that. You helped us live right into the thing that we talk about the most, that we wrote about, that we talk about, that we share about, that we hope for, we wish and pray for. There's one thing that has to happen to bring a quality of life that you must think about, you must do. And Lisa will tell us all what that is. It's all about
how you leave them feeling.